Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we'll be taking a look back at Halloween Havoc 2020. Now, this was the first year that NXT adopted the name Halloween Havoc back, and WWE adopted that name back. This wasn't a pay-per-view necessarily, it was mainly just a TV special. It was a 5-match card with one really short match and one, I forget what they call it, just cinematic match. But yeah, before we go into each match, what was the overall thoughts on the pay-per-view?
So it wasn't great. I think it was kind of built around the Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes match. I think if that went good, that would have made everything go good, I felt like.
Yeah.
And it just didn't, at least for me. But the starting match was really good. The last two matches were really good. We'll kind of get into that a little bit more later. But yeah, our first match is going to be Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest in a spin the wheel, make the deal, Devil's Playground match. And the whole thing with this Halloween Havoc is Shotzi's kind of hosting the event, and she's spinning the wheel. Whatever it lands on, that's what you get. And that's how this match kind of came about. And this was a really good match.
Yeah, this is a very good match. This was a rematch from their match at TakeOver 31 previously in the month. Yeah, this is very solid. Damien kind of starts off with a lot of control, and it's weird for me because I wasn't watching NXT at this time. So seeing Damian Priest now, or back then, as a babyface, and then Johnny Gargano, a heel at the time, was very different for me. It was something that I was like, that's different, especially knowing now where both men are at nowadays. But yeah, Damien kind of starts off strong. He hits some Sting corner splashes almost. And I know Damien's a big fan of WCW. He loves Scott Hall, so that was, I'm sure, that was definitely planned. And then at one point, I think it's Damian Priest. No, it's Johnny Gargano. He brings out a kendo stick from under the ring, and then he goes to swing it, but right before he swings, Damian Priest pulls out a police baton, I guess you can say, and that was used at one point. And then after this is when I first noticed that watching back an old TV special is very hard because of the commercial breaks that happen during this pay-per-view or TV show, I guess you can say, and it was very mistimed for a lot of them. Yeah,
they had a moment where they were kind of standing off. Maybe it was the point when they had the kendo stick and the police baton. Maybe I don't exactly remember which point it was, but they both had a weapon. They were having a standout. They were about to go, and right as they were about to go, it cuts the commercial, and by the time it comes back, the whole thing's over with. They're fighting on the entrance ramp now, and it just, like you said, it's just really weird watching something like this on Peacock.
Yeah, and then at one point you had Damian Priest do an inverted draping DDT, similar to how Randy Orton does his, and then that kind of leads to the outside for a little bit. Then Johnny Gargano gets a sliced bread on the stairs, which is a really nice spot, just great strength from both men. And then Johnny kind of starts crawling around to the outside kind of area. It's kind of where the hard cam's at. They kind of call it a backstage area. And as Johnny Gargano pushes a cart, I guess a trash cart, into Damien, as soon as it's about to hit, another ad hits. And it's just so mistimed. I don't know whether that's just the Peacock version. I don't know how it was back when it actually happened, but it was very weird to see. But then you get to your main ending part where they're on top of the stage right next to the wheel. Johnny Gargano kind of does a spinning DDT off the wheel, which is very cool. And then as Damien kind of gets back up, he's getting momentum, and then as soon as he's about to hit, I believe his kind of choke slam type of move, he gets hit in the back with by somebody, and it's kind of they're dressed in a scream mask. This will be later revealed. We'll talk about later on. But yeah, he gives Johnny Gargano, the scream guy gives Johnny Gargano a tombstone. He hits the tombstone over Damien's head. He falls over, and Johnny Gargano gets the win off of that. Now that it was very interesting because the explosion that happened was pretty cool for a cinematic type match. But yeah, moving on after that, we kind of get a look into what's going to happen later on tonight, where you have Cameron Grimes getting ready for his match versus Dexter Lumis. He's kind of trying to prep himself up, but as soon as somebody walks into his dressing room, which is William Regal, he gets scared immediately and is kind of I don't want to do this anymore. Pretty funny segment, but yeah. And then after that, you had Pat McAfee starts talking to the crowd. He's out there with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. They're interrupted by Kyle O'Reilly, who comes out with 2 chairs. He's then flanked by Pete Dunne. He comes out. They're about to stand up between McAfee, Lorcan, and Birch, and then Pete Dunne turns on Kyle O'Reilly and joins pretty much Pat McAfee's side. It was a pretty cool segment. They just beat down on Kyle O'Reilly. No one even comes to save him. But yeah, just cool segment. Then after that, we have Santos Escobar versus Jake Atlas. This is basically just a squash match. Santos kind of gets some early momentum. Jake Atlas starts to build up, but then he gets outnumbered by Legado del Fantasma, which basically sets up a win for Santos. Yeah, pretty alright match. This is like a 3-minute match.
Yeah, nothing special. Yeah, not much to talk about with that one.
And next up, we have the Haunted House of Terror match, which is a cinematic match between Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes. This lasts pretty much for 2 matches, basically, because it starts before the next match and then goes on after the match, because you'll see why. But yeah, so they get driven to the haunted house, and Cameron Grimes is there. Dexter Lumis is apparently already there, and you can kind of see him in the background every time, like every shot of Cameron Grimes, kind of getting ready for him. And they kind of brawl around the room for a little, like the house for a little while. Eventually, Cameron Grimes just runs away and starts heading back towards the Performance Center, which we'll see later on. But after he runs away, the next match is Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez. Obviously now Raquel Rodriguez, and it's interesting to see as well because they're still feuding basically to this day. Obviously, they take a break for a while, but yeah, this match was all right. I don't mind it.
Yeah. I mean, I really liked it myself. Just because, like you said, I've never seen this before, so seeing it for the first time and seeing, I guess, kind of where their feud sort of started in a way, not the official start, but early on in it. It's pretty cool to see, and then obviously Dakota Kai being there as well. But yeah, pretty short match. It was only 13 minutes, but that's kind of what you would expect from a Rhea Ripley Raquel match. But yeah, I enjoyed it myself though.
Yeah, at one point Rhea tries for a cannonball, but Raquel kind of just grabs her and holds her onto her, power bombs her on the table. Then after that, a little your end segment is Raquel tries for a 1-arm power bomb, but Rhea does like a kind of a head scissors takedown almost, and then hits a riptide for the win. Yeah, this was a pretty good match. It was a solid match for a TV special. Yeah, not too bad. Then after that, we have the ending of the Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis cinematic match. Cameron Grimes is finally back in the arena. He gets spooked by some zombies who come around, and basically, once he gets in the ring, Dexter Lumis appears. More zombies come out. They kind of start swarming him. There's I think it's the sister of Dexter Lumis, I think, is in kayfabe. Dexter Lumis body presses her at Cameron Grimes. He hits his sidewalk slam kind of thing, and then hits his chokehold for the win. Pretty alright cinematic match, I guess. I wasn't much of a fan of it. It was cool, I guess, though.
Yeah, I didn't really like it at all, to be honest. This is my least favorite of the night. And yeah, it just wasn't great to me. It could have been done better.
And then next up, we have the main event where we have Io Shirai taking on Canace LeRae for the NXT Women's Champion. They spin the wheel, and it lands on tables, ladders, and scares, which is basically just a TLC match. This was a very good match, probably the best match on the show.
And also, Io's entrance was crazy.
Yeah.
I really liked her
entrance.
entrance.
Yeah, there's nothing about Damian Priest as well. He came out to a nice, good, like a guitar solo. I don't know who did it, but whoever did, they did a phenomenal job. Very cool.
And same thing with I don't know who that was with her that came in singing the song with her, but yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, at one point, Io hits a suplex on Canace LeRae on the edge of the chair, which is a very gnarly spot. Again, the Scream character comes back out. He's trying to help Canace LeRae. He gets pushed out the way. Canace LeRae gets pushed off the ladder, through to the outside, through a table, or through a ladder, I should say. And that pretty much lets Io get the win here. It's later revealed the person behind the Scream mask was Austin Theory, which I believe would be the way to the formation of The Way. So, cool way to kind of like start the faction was at this premium live TV show. But yeah.
Yeah, this was my favorite match of the night for sure. They were doing a lot of big spots. Obviously, Io always looks good in the ring, and she like basically was a star from the start. But yeah, it was great to see. Obviously, once again, I haven't seen it before, so it was good to go back and see Io earlier on. Obviously, she was even going on even before her NXT run.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just great to see that, and it was just a really good match. And yeah, Io retained. She wins. And she is still champion today. Not that champion, but WWE champion. And yeah, overall, the pay-per-view, it just wasn't. I don't know. Maybe they could like move the matches around a little bit to make it feel a little bit better or something. I don't know what it was, but it just didn't feel right.
Yeah, it's obviously it is just a TV show. It's just another weekly episode, but it is supposed to be a bigger and like more importance to this main show. But to me, none of the matches, only 2 matches is hit, and that was the first and the ending, which I guess is a good way to start. But the in between part, the cinematic match wasn't all that. The squash match from Santos wasn't all that for me either. The Rhea and Raquel wasn't bad, but just again wasn't my cup of tea. I don't have too much for that match to really say, but yeah, interesting night of NXT back in 2020. But let us know what you guys thought of the pay-per-view, or I keep saying pay-per-view, but the TV show special. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe if you do enjoy our content, and we will catch you guys in the next video.